Welcome back to our MLB 30 for 30 series. Today we're talking about the Toronto Blue Jays. I'm Justin St. Peter.
And I'm Michael Hoeflinger.
The Toronto Blue Jays went for it all last year. They traded a bunch of their future to the Marlins and to the Mets, and everything that could go wrong went wrong for them.
Yep, they looked great on paper, and sometimes when things look great on paper, it takes a while to gel and mesh, and it just never happened for this team last year.
Yeah, I will admit that I had them for my World Series prediction. That was not a very good prediction on my part.
Yep, then the time it looked good. They looked like a really stacked team, and just injuries play a toll, and just not performing as well, just as what they had been, just all added up to a dismal season.
Speaking of injuries, talk about Jose Reyes, former batting title champ, on-base legend with a lot of stolen bases, great fielder, and then struggled to stay in the field.
Yep, just he's great when he's out there. He has to stay out there on a more consistent basis. He's injured a lot, and if he can just stay out there, they got a chance, especially as a leadoff hitter, important role to get on and steal some bases for him.
And then Melky Cabrera is slated to bat second. 2 years ago with the Giants, he had his career revival, an amazing year. Then it was found out that he took steroids and suspended for 50 games. Came back last year and kind of really struggled.
Yep, I mean, maybe it was the steroids talking with his big performance out there in San Francisco, but definitely needs to be more consistent and definitely show some signs that he's a good player again, because they need him, and hopefully he's clean off the steroids and needs to get back to his old ways back with San Francisco.
And if he's not, they have young outfielder Anthony Gose waiting in the wings. He's one of the few prospects that didn't trade to the Mets or Marlins.
Yeah, maybe it's put some pressure on Melky, because he's probably the odd man out if an outfielder needs to be replaced.
Yeah, because you have Jose Bautista and Evan Encarnacion in the 3 and 4 spots.
Yeah, but Jose Bautista, a great player. He's going to hit a lot of power. He came on a couple years ago as that big power hitter, and his whole slogan of Jose Bombista and everything, he can really launch a ball pretty far. And Edwin Encarnacion, not as common of a name, but he can hit one just as far as Bautista can.
Yeah, Evan Encarnacion really came in the last 2 years. A huge power threat. He struggled with the Reds, but came into his own. Jose Bautista, another late bloomer. It seems that the Blue Jays always get these guys. A lot of power. He had an injury last year that limited him a lot of games. One of the best Twitter followers as well. He follows all his fans that try to retweet him.
Yeah, he still hasn't followed me back, though. I've been waiting for about a week now, and it still hasn't happened.
Well, anyways, these two guys, they're going to get you a lot of power, a lot of up in that order, just all-around great players.
Yep. Then they got Brett Lowry, an ex-Brewer, just solid guy that can do it all pretty much. Great fielder. His hitting is pretty good as well.
They've been looking for a huge breakout year. He's just had a couple average years so far, but that fielding, he's almost Manny Machado level.
Yeah, he can dive. He's good with the mitt and dive around and steal some potential base hits down the line. Those probably doubles even. So good, solid player. They need him there. Then they got Adam Lind, too, at first base, who probably won't be at first base every game. I think Encarnacion could see some good playing time at first as well.
Yeah, Adam Lind is another is a solid fielder. Not a name many people know about. He's just an average player. Nothing special about him.
Yeah.
And then Kobe Rasmus, former Cardinal, didn't really work well with the Tony La Russa. Actually, his dad had a big falling out with him, and then he was traded. But he's done well for the Blue Jays.
Yep, he's a solid defender. He can go and get it and rob some hits, and as well get some hits, some power numbers with some homers. Just didn't really get along with the Cardinals organization and going up to Toronto to play now, and good player for him.
And then the 8 and 9 hitters in this lineup are pretty weak. Dioner Navarro and Maícer Torres.
Yeah, I mean, kind of Dioner Navarro, not good at defense at all, really. Stealing all day on him. And then Maícer Torres, exact opposite, really not going to hit at all, but, I mean, he can play amazing defense for him.
Yeah, if not, they always have on their bench Chris Getz,
Yeah,
Mark DeRosa.
Just some other guys. be curious to see the pitching staff now with R.A. Dickey. He didn't have a great year, but, I mean, he went from the National League to the American League. It's always tough. And the knuckleball, unpredictable what it's going to do, and hopefully he can regain it. And he's even said in warm-ups there's times where it doesn't even matter what he does in warm-ups because he knows it's going to just change from pitch to pitch. So with Deoner Navarro being his catcher, I see a personal catcher for him because Deoner Navarro, I don't think he can handle a knuckleball.
Yeah, R.A. Dickey is a very interesting story. He's former Brewers prospect, all over the place. Never really panned out too well. He was out of the majors. He learned how to throw a knuckleball and came in a Cy Young year with the Mets, and they traded him at the top of his performance for catching prospect Travis d'Arnaud. Mm-hmm. If the Blue Jays had both Dickey and d'Arnaud, they'd be in great shape. But since they had to lose him for Dickey, their catching spot's going to look pretty weak, and it's going to be a hard time for Dickey's knuckleball to be caught.
Yeah, guy that I think should be their ace, or at least considered, is Brandon Morrow. This guy's got good stuff, good fastball, just solid. He gives you a chance to win every time, and very consistent strike thrower. I think he needs to be considered their ace a little more. He just had a better season last year.
Yeah, he finally had that breakout year that they've been waiting for him to have. They lost Josh Johnson last year. They picked him up in the Marlins deal. He is was a hard-throwing righty who really struggled coming over to the American League East and was very injury-prone, which I think might hurt them towards the end of the lineup. But at that third spot, Mark Burley.
Yeah, he was a big-time pitcher with the White Sox. Really good success story. Not a lot of people drafted real late in the draft, and I don't even think he made his high school baseball team. And now he's a starting pitcher for many teams. And I think Mark Burley, if he's your 3, you're in pretty good shape with the pitching rotation. He's a very good player that's going to get you a lot of innings eaten up with him, and he'll pitch really fast too.
He's one of the fastest pitchers in the game. Almost 200 innings every year of his career. Just a solid all-around player who is also throwing a no-hitter and a perfect game for the White Sox.
Yep, definitely. People look forward to seeing him pitch, and Chicago White Sox fans loved him. Yeah,
the back end of their rotation, J.A. Happ is a former Philly. He's a solid guy for them. I think he got hurt last year. But he's a decent 4 guy.
Yeah,
nothing too special.
I'll take him over a lot of other 4s though. And then 5-wise, kind of Ishmael Rogers or Kyle Drabek, kind of competing for that last spot. I mean, 5 isn't the most important pitching role. You just get what you can out of that one.
Yeah. Their bullpen though, they had one of the best bullpens in the major leagues last year. They had 1, maybe 2 guys in the All-Star game. That starts with Steve Delabar and Casey Janssen, both very, very good.
Yeah, bullpen, pretty good strength for this team. I mean, they're not leaders in any way by bullpen ERA, but they're not going to blow you a whole lot of games either, just kind of hold their own.
And then another guy that was unheralded is Sergio Santos. He was the White Sox closer, and they traded him, and then he blew out his arm. So we'll see how he can do this year.
Yep. Some potential all-stars in this. I think Jose Bautista is probably the front runner to be an all-star on this team, but Edwin Encarnacion, dark horse, don't really see him much. Jose Reyes, if he can stay healthy. Maybe Brett Lowry, kind of some guys to look out for.
Maybe 1 or 2 of the bullpen guys. They have top bullpen guys, either Delabar, Santos, Jansen, or some other unheralded guy. And then either Dickey or Morrow, either if they both had good years.
Yeah, Dickey, is the unusualness of the knuckleball pitch may be able to get him in as long as he has good numbers. Fans like to see something different, and he is probably one of the most different pitchers out there. So I think if you could see that, I would like to see him pitch.
Bold predictions, what do you got?
I think Jose Bautista and Edwin Encarnacion are each going to hit for 40-plus home runs this year. It's never easy to hit 40 home runs, especially throw that between 2 players, but these guys have the power to do it, and they play in a good ballpark to hit the home runs. Some visiting ballparks, too, are hitter-friendly. I think it's not going to be easy, but these guys are one of the better 1-2 combos in the game.
Especially when they're hitting right back-to-back with that power. There's a lot of back-to-back homer potential. I think they both going to have top power numbers, maybe not 40 and 40, but they're top home run numbers. I see the Blue Jays, everything went wrong for them last year. I think after a year of meshing, I think they'll challenge for a playoff spot and probably about third in American League East behind the Red Sox and Yankees. I don't know if they'll make it, but they'll at least be in the running for them.
Yeah, I agree. It's kind of I think any team can take this division still, but I mean they're all really good. But I think the Blue Jays are kind of that team that everyone forgets about, and they have good players on this team. It's just, can they put it all together and can it all mesh?
Yeah, I completely agree. We'll definitely see. Thanks for watching, and next we'll have
The Pittsburgh Pirates.